At 6 p.m., Dong Jie and Gong Ziwei entered the water first, their figures gradually disappearing beneath the surface. 10 minutes later, Aguai followed, reaching the rendezvous point at 60 meters underwater. Logically, the two should have returned there by 6:20, but as time passed, not even a single bubble appeared. Aguai stared into the darkness below, growing more and more anxious. Watching his air gauge drop, he realized that if he waited any longer, he too might not make it back. Gritting his teeth, he began to ascend. Before leaving, he placed a line marker next to a spare tank at 50 meters, so if the two returned, they would know he had already gone up. Aguai completed his decompression ascent without seeing any trace of them. After surfacing, he immediately contacted the diving center and called the police. He then re-entered the water twice to search, but the spare tanks at the decompression stops remained untouched. The result was self-evident. As soon as the news broke, the entire diving community was shaken. Top-level experts like Dong Jie and Gong Ziwei encountering trouble at just 120 meters. It was like a swimming coach drowning in a pool. No one could believe it, but the impossible had happened. After receiving the news, Han Ting rushed from the South China Sea to Duan. Cave divers from across the country also came to assist, but the rescue faced a fatal problem. 120 meters in a cave is completely different from 120 meters in open water. Fewer than 50 divers in the country could reach that depth, and being able to dive there didn't mean being able to conduct rescue operations. In reality, fewer than 5 people nationwide were capable of performing search and rescue at that depth. That night, cave diving expert Haitao rushed overnight from Nanning. By then, more than 7 hours had passed since the two went missing, and the chance of survival was nearly zero. Haitao still wanted to enter the water, even if only to bring them back. But to avoid further accidents, the police sealed off the site and prohibited diving that day. On September 27th, Haitao and Aguai began the first search, targeting the 50-meter platform in the North Cave. They went down twice but brought nothing back. After 9 p.m., Han Ting finally arrived, giving the rescue team a backbone. But everyone was exhausted after long travel and a sleepless night, and what awaited them was an extremely dangerous deep cave rescue. Worse still, more than 24 hours had already passed, and the chance of survival was almost zero. The team decided to rest for the night and begin again the next day. On the morning of September 28 at 7:30, the second search operation officially began. To prevent accidents, support divers were stationed at 9, 40, and 60 meters in the North Cave. Haitao, not yet capable of conducting rescue operations below 100 meters, searched between 10 and 50 meters. Han Ting alone continued descending along the main line into depths beyond 120 meters. The terrain there resembled a half funnel, narrowing at the bottom. At 164 meters, a large rock blocked the path. If anyone lost control below 120 meters, they would eventually slide down to that point. Han Ting carefully searched the area, but found nothing. At such depths, underwater search time is only a few minutes, while decompression takes more than 3 hours. By the time they surfaced, the entire morning had passed. That afternoon, another group entered through the South Cave. Cave diving relies on guidelines. Divers follow the line in and out. Jiuduan Skylight already had a complex and mature line system. There was a connecting guideline between 120 meters in the North Cave and 105 meters in the South Cave. Although Dong Jie and Gong Ziwei hadn't planned to go to the South Cave, Aguai hadn't seen any bubbles at the meeting point. It was possible they had taken the wrong line. At 50 meters in the South Cave, there was a horizontal turning point. If the two had run out of gas there, they should have floated up and stopped at that location. But after a long search between 70 and 30 meters, nothing was found.